Most people don't stay broke because they don't make enough money. They stay broke because of what they keep buying. Today, I'm going to show you 7 common purchases that quietly destroy wealth and what to stop buying if you want to get rich. Let me tell you something most people don't want to hear. You don't stay broke because you don't make enough money. You stay broke because of what you keep buying. Wealth doesn't disappear, it leaks. And today, I'm going to show you 7 leaks that quietly drain your future. If you want to get rich, stop buying these 7 things. Number 1, stop buying status, designer clothes, luxury logos, the newest phone. Again, here's the truth. Status is the most expensive drug on the market. People go into debt trying to impress people who don't even like them. Wealthy people don't buy things to be seen, they buy things to own. If it depreciates and your ego appreciates, you're losing. Number 2, stop buying convenience at the cost of control. Food delivery every day, rides instead of planning, subscriptions you don't use. Convenience feels good, but it's expensive. Every time you say, I don't have time, what you're really saying is, I'd rather pay than learn. Rich people sacrifice convenience early so they can buy freedom later. Number 3, stop buying liabilities you call rewards. Cars you can't afford, houses that impress guests but stress your wallet. A reward that traps you is not a reward, it's a cage. If it needs your paycheck to survive, it doesn't belong to you. Ownership means the asset pays you, not the other way around. Number 4, stop buying entertainment to escape your reality. Streaming, scrolling, gaming, binge watching dreams you didn't build. Entertainment isn't evil, but escape is expensive. If you consume more content than you create, you're financing someone else's vision. Turn entertainment into education. Turn scrolling into skill building. Number 5, stop buying cheap solutions to expensive problems. Cheap courses, quick hacks, get rich quick promises. Poor people ask, what's the cheapest option? Wealthy people ask, what's the best investment? Cheap thinking produces expensive consequences. Pay for results, not relief. Number 6, stop buying comfort over growth. The easy job, the safe choice, the familiar routine. Comfort is seductive, but it's a thief. Nothing grows in comfort zones. Not muscles, not businesses, not bank accounts. Growth feels uncomfortable because it's stretching you into someone new. Number 7, stop buying things that don't multiply. Here's the real rule of wealth. If it doesn't grow, scale, or pay you back, think twice. Money is a seed, and seeds aren't meant to be eaten. They're meant to be planted. Every dollar you spend should ask a question. Will this make me more valuable or just more entertained? Getting rich isn't about making more money. It's about keeping, directing, and multiplying what you already have. Wealth doesn't start in your wallet. It starts in your decisions. Stop buying what keeps you average. Start investing in what makes you unstoppable. Wealth is not something you arrive at one day and suddenly possess. It is something you practice long before the numbers show up in your bank account. Long before the money changes, the behavior changes first. That's why 2 people can earn the same income, live in the same city, and have completely different financial outcomes. One builds wealth quietly over time. The other stays stuck, stressed, and paycheck to paycheck. The difference isn't income, it's behavior. Your bank balance is not the cause of your financial life, it's the result of it. Every dollar you have right now is the echo of past decisions. What you chose to spend, what you chose to delay, what you chose to ignore, and what you chose to invest in. Wealth doesn't respond to wishes or motivation, it responds to patterns. If your patterns are careless, emotional, and reactive, money slips through your hands no matter how much you earn. If your patterns are intentional, disciplined, and strategic, wealth begins to accumulate even on modest income. Most people think wealth is about big moments, a promotion, a business breakthrough, a lucky opportunity. In reality, wealth is built in small, boring decisions repeated consistently. It's choosing not to buy something you can afford because you're thinking about what you want more. It's choosing to learn instead of consume, to plan instead of react, to wait instead of rush. These decisions don't feel powerful in the moment, but over time they compound into freedom. Behavior shows up before wealth does. Wealthy behavior looks like delayed gratification even when nobody is watching. It looks like asking better questions before spending money. It looks like treating money as a tool, not a toy. People who build wealth don't ask, can I afford this? They ask, what does this cost me long term? They understand that every purchase is a trade, not just of money, but of time, energy, and future options. Poor financial behavior is often emotional. It's spending to feel better, to feel important, to feel included, or to escape discomfort. Wealthy behavior is intentional. It's calm. It's strategic. It doesn't need applause. That's why many people look rich and are broke, while others look ordinary and are quietly building serious assets. One is chasing feelings. The other is building systems. If wealth were just about money, then earning more would fix everything. But for most people, higher income simply amplifies existing habits. If you mismanage a little, you'll mismanage a lot. If you leak money at a low level, you'll leak it at a higher level too. Until behavior changes, results don't. That's why wealth always starts internally before it shows externally. When you shift your behavior, your identity starts to change. You stop seeing yourself as a spender and start seeing yourself as a builder. You stop asking how to look successful and start asking how to become successful. You begin to respect money, not fear it or worship it. And once that shift happens, your financial life starts to move in a new direction. Almost automatically, wealth is the scoreboard, not the game. The game is discipline, patience, learning, and decision-making. Play the game long enough with the right behaviors, and the scoreboard eventually has no choice but to reflect it. Most people don't actually buy things because they need them. They buy things because of how those things make them look. Status has become the invisible currency of modern society, and millions of people are spending real money trying to purchase an image instead of building a future. The tragedy is that status feels like success, but it produces none of the benefits of it. It gives temporary validation while quietly stealing long-term wealth. Status purchases are designed to be seen. The logo, the brand name, the upgrade, the lifestyle signal, these things exist to communicate something to other people, not to improve your financial position. Assets, on the other hand, don't care who's watching. Assets work in silence. They generate income, appreciate over time, or create leverage that multiplies your efforts. That's the fundamental difference. Status impresses people for a moment. Assets change your life permanently. The reason status is so seductive is because it provides instant feedback. You buy the car, people notice. You wear the brand, people comment. You post the lifestyle, people react. Assets don't do that. Nobody claps when you invest. Nobody compliments you for delaying gratification. Nobody sees the discipline behind choosing ownership over appearance. That's why most people choose status. It's easier to feel successful than to become successful. Society reinforces this behavior from an early age. We're taught to celebrate consumption, not accumulation, to reward spending, not ownership. People are praised for what they wear, drive, and display, not for what they own, control, or build. Over time, this conditions people to equate success with visibility. If it can't be seen, it doesn't feel valuable. That mindset is expensive. Status is also costly because it depreciates quickly. The excitement fades, the attention moves on. What was impressive last year becomes ordinary today. Meanwhile, the payments remain. Assets behave differently. They may not excite you at first, but over time they grow, compound, and expand your options. Status drains your future to decorate your present. Assets sacrifice the present to secure the future. Another danger of status buying is that it creates financial pressure. When you spend money to maintain an image, you lock yourself into a lifestyle that demands constant income. You become dependent on your paycheck, your business, or your next opportunity just to keep up appearances. Assets reduce pressure. They give you breathing room. They buy you time, flexibility, and choice. One traps you, the other frees you. People who focus on status often say, I deserve this, without asking whether the purchase serves their long-term goals. Assets require a different question. Will this make me more independent? That question changes everything. Independence is the real marker of wealth, not luxury. Freedom is more valuable than flash, but freedom takes patience. The wealthy understand a quiet truth. Looking rich is expensive, but being rich is often invisible. That's why those who truly build wealth often appear ordinary while their money works behind the scenes. They invest in things that multiply, not things that impress. They delay applause so they can enjoy autonomy later. Until people shift from buying status to buying assets, they will continue to work hard for money that never stays. Status keeps you on a treadmill. Assets build an elevator. One exhausts you, the other lifts you. Big financial failures rarely come from one massive mistake. They come from small, ignored habits that repeat quietly over time. Just like a ship doesn't sink because of one dramatic wave, but because of a slow, unnoticed leak, most people don't lose their financial future in one moment. They lose it a little at a time. Small leaks sink big ships, and in money, those leaks are almost always underestimated. The danger of small leaks is that they don't feel dangerous. A little extra spending here, a forgotten subscription there, a daily habit that seems harmless on its own. None of it feels like a problem in isolation, but money doesn't move in isolation. It moves in patterns. When small leaks become consistent, they turn into powerful forces working against you. What feels insignificant today becomes expensive over years. People often focus on big expenses while ignoring small ones. They'll negotiate a major purchase but never question daily spending. They'll stress over large bills yet casually bleed money through habits they don't track. The irony is that small leaks are more damaging than big ones because they're invisible. You don't feel them leaving, but you feel the absence when it's time to build something meaningful. Every small financial leak represents a lack of intention. It's money leaving without a job, a plan, or a purpose. And money without direction doesn't just disappear, it delays progress. It postpones investments. It pushes back freedom. It keeps goals permanently someday instead of now. One small leak won't ruin you, but hundreds of them will quietly decide your future. Small leaks also distort reality. They make people believe they have less money than they actually do, or that wealth is out of reach. In truth, the problem isn't earning, it's leaking. When leaks are sealed, cash flow improves without increasing income. That's a powerful realization because it puts control back in your hands. You don't need permission to fix leaks. You need awareness and discipline. Another reason small leaks are dangerous is because they're emotional. They often come from comfort, convenience, and impulse. These are the hardest habits to challenge because they're tied to feelings, not logic. But wealth requires emotional control, the ability to pause, evaluate, and choose long-term benefit over short-term relief. That muscle is built by confronting small decisions, not big ones. When leaks go unchecked, they don't just cost money, they cost momentum. Progress slows, motivation drops, and people assume they're failing when in reality, they're just bleeding quietly. Seal the leaks, and momentum returns. Savings grow, options expand, confidence increases, not because income changed, but because behavior did. Big ships are designed to handle storms. What they can't survive is neglect. The same is true financially. You don't need perfect discipline or extreme sacrifice. You need awareness, consistency, and respect for small decisions. Because in the long run, it's never the storm that sinks you. It's the leak you ignored. Time is more expensive than money because money can be replaced, but time cannot. You can lose money and earn it back. You can make a bad investment and recover. You can even start from zero financially and rebuild. But once time is spent, it's gone forever. No strategy, no hustle, no amount of success can buy back yesterday. That's why people who truly understand wealth protect their time more aggressively than their Nay, most people do the opposite. They guard money carefully but give time away casually. They'll spend hours on distractions, unnecessary meetings, pointless scrolling, and low-value activities without a second thought. But they'll agonize over small financial decisions. This is backward. Money is a renewable resource. Time is not. Every hour wasted is an opportunity that can never be reclaimed. Time is the container that produces money. Without time, income stops. Skills don't grow. Relationships don't deepen. Assets don't compound. Yet people trade time for convenience constantly without calculating the real cost. They choose short-term ease over long-term leverage. They say yes to things that drain them and no to things that would build them. Over years, this creates a life that feels busy but goes nowhere. Wealthy thinking values time because time compounds. What you do with 1 hour today can multiply into years of results tomorrow. Learning a skill, building a system, creating an asset, these all require time up front, but pay back repeatedly. That's leverage. Poor time decisions force you to keep trading hours for dollars forever. Good time decisions allow you to eventually decouple income from effort. When people say they don't have time, what they really mean is they don't have priorities. Everyone has the same 24 hours. The difference is how those hours are allocated. Time spent reacting instead of planning keeps people stuck. Time spent consuming instead of creating keeps people dependent. Time spent avoiding discomfort keeps people small. These choices don't feel expensive in the moment, but over decades they become devastating. Time also has an emotion, L cost. Wasting time creates regret. Regret drains energy. Energy loss affects performance. Performance affects income. Everything is connected. That's why protecting time isn't just a productivity issue, it's a wealth issue. People who respect time tend to be calmer, clearer, and more intentional. They don't rush into decisions. They don't fill their days with noise. They create space to think, and thinking is where wealth is born. Another reason time is more expensive than money is that time determines who you become. What you repeatedly spend time on shapes your identity. If your time is spent on low-value activities, your results will reflect that. If your time is spent learning, building, and improving, wealth becomes a byproduct. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of how you spend your time. Money can buy comfort, but time buys freedom. And freedom is the true goal of wealth, the ability to choose how you spend your days, who you spend them with, and what you focus on. That level of control doesn't come from a high income alone. It comes from years of respecting time when it was easy to waste it. People who build wealth early understand this principle intuitively. They invest time before they see returns. They say no when it's unpopular. They work quietly while others are distracted. Later, when results show up, it looks like luck. But it wasn't luck. It was time used wisely. If you want to change your financial future, don't just ask how to make more money. Ask how to spend your time better. Money follows time, always has, always will. Rich people delay gratification intentionally, not accidentally, and not because they enjoy suffering, but because they understand how wealth actually works. They know that every time they say yes to something small and pleasurable now, they may be saying no to something big and meaningful later. Delayed gratification is not about deprivation. It is about direction. It is the ability to choose what you want most over what you want now, and that ability separates people who build wealth from people who only chase comfort. Most people operate on impulse. If they feel it, they buy it. If they want it, they justify it. Their decisions are driven by emotion, pressure, and urgency. Rich people slow that process down. They pause, they evaluate, they ask different questions. Not, will this make me feel good, but will this move me forward? That pause is powerful. It creates space between desire and decision, and in that space, wealth is built. Delayed gratification requires clarity. You cannot delay pleasure unless you have something more important you're aiming for. Rich people have clear long-term vision, so short-term temptations lose their power. When you know where you're going, distractions become obvious. When you don't, everything feels like an opportunity. That's why many people spend their money chasing moments, while wealthy people invest their money building futures. This discipline shows up in simple, unglamorous ways. It's choosing not to upgrade when you can. It's staying in environments that support growth instead of impressing others. It's reinvesting profits instead of celebrating them too early. These decisions don't look exciting and they don't earn applause, but they compound quietly. Over time, they create leverage, options, and freedom. Delayed gratification is also about emotional control. Money magnifies who you already are. If you are impulsive with little, you will be reckless with more. Rich people train themselves to manage desire before managing large sums of money. They practice restraint early so abundance doesn't overwhelm them later. This is why sudden money often disappears from the hands of people who haven't developed the discipline to hold it. Another reason delayed gratification matters is because it builds confidence. Every time you choose discipline over impulse, you reinforce trust in yourself. You prove that you are capable of honoring long-term commitments. That self-trust is essential for wealth because wealth requires patience. Investments take time. Businesses take time. Skills take time. People who need instant rewards rarely stay consistent long enough to see real results. Delayed gratification also protects people from lifestyle inflation. As income increases, so do temptations without intentional restraint. Expenses rise to meet income and progress stalls. Rich people resist this trap. They allow income to grow faster than lifestyle. That gap is where wealth lives. That margin is what funds investments, creates security, and builds independence. This principle is misunderstood because people think rich individuals are denying themselves forever. That's not true. They're delaying, not denying. Pleasure is postponed, not eliminated. The difference is timing. They enjoy rewards when those rewards no longer threaten their future. When pleasure is earned, not borrowed from tomorrow. In a world built on instant access and constant stimulation, delayed gratification is a competitive advantage. It allows people to move against the current, to build while others consume, to focus while others are distracted. Over time, that advantage compounds into results that seem extraordinary but were built through ordinary disciplined choices. Rich people don't wait for discipline to feel natural. They practice it until it becomes normal. And once delayed gratification becomes a habit, wealth stops being a struggle and starts becoming a consequence. Every dollar you earn has a role to play. It is either working for you or it is working against you. There is no neutral money. A dollar is either sent out into the world with a mission to return with more, or it is sent away with no intention of ever coming back. When people fail to understand this, they treat money casually. When they do understand it, money becomes a powerful tool instead of a constant problem. Most people use money as a servant to their impulses. They earn it, spend it immediately, and then wonder why nothing changes. In that situation, money isn't working for them. It's enslaving them. Every dollar spent without purpose increases dependence on future labor. It creates a cycle where more time must be traded just to maintain the same lifestyle. That is the quiet definition of financial slavery, needing to work not to build, but just to survive. When a dollar is treated as a worker, it is given an assignment. It might be tasked with generating income, acquiring a skill, buying an asset, or creating leverage. That dollar may leave today, but it is expected to return with reinforcements. Even if the return is delayed, the intention is clear. Money used this way multiplies. Money used without intention disappears. The mindset shift is subtle but powerful. Instead of asking, what can I buy with this money? The question becomes, what can this money build? That single change in thinking separates consumers from owners. Consumers exhaust their income. Owners deploy it. Consumers look for satisfaction. Owners look for systems. Money that is not working creates pressure. Bills demand attention. Obligations pile up. Choices shrink. In contrast, money that works creates space. It reduces urgency. It buys time. It gives options. The difference between stress and peace is often not how much you earn, but how your money is employed. Many people believe they need more money before they can think this way. In reality, thinking this way is what leads to more money. You don't wait until you're wealthy to give dollars assignments. You practice with what you have. Small dollars trained to work turn into large dollars that work efficiently. Mismanaged small amounts become large problems later. Money becomes a slave when it is used to impress, escape, or numb. Those dollars produce nothing and demand replacement. They force you back to work, back into the same patterns, back into the same limitations. Money becomes a worker when it is used to create value, increase capability, or generate future income. That money reduces how much you must trade your life for income. This principle also builds discipline. When you see every dollar as a worker, waste becomes uncomfortable. Impulse spending feels irresponsible, not because of guilt, but because of missed opportunity. You begin to respect money, not worship it. Respect leads to stewardship, and stewardship leads to multiplication. Wealthy people don't hoard money, they deploy it strategically. They understand that idle money loses value and careless money loses purpose. But directed money compounds. It grows quietly, consistently, and predictably over time. That growth isn't magic, it's the result of intention applied repeatedly. Ultimately, money reflects leadership. If you lead your money, it serves you. If you ignore it, it controls you. Every dollar is listening for direction. Give it one, and it will build your future. Leave it unmanaged, and it will cost you more than you realize. Wealth is not a mystery reserved for a few lucky people. It is the predictable outcome of repeated decisions made over time. It begins with behavior, not income. It grows when you choose assets over status, seal the small leaks, respect your time, delay gratification, and give every dollar a purpose. Most people wait for more money to change their lives. Wealthy people change how they think, and money eventually follows. The moment you start treating money as a tool instead of a toy, time as an asset instead of something to waste, and discipline as freedom instead of restriction, your financial future begins to shift. You don't need a new opportunity, you need new standards. Stop buying what keeps you average. Start investing in what builds independence. Because real wealth isn't about looking rich. It's about owning your time, your choices, and your future. The decisions you make after today will quietly decide where you end up tomorrow. Choose wisely.